What is up, everyone? Q&A time. Figured this off week would be perfect time to do it. And yeah, so thanks to Alden making it a little easier on my life. I already filmed it once and it didn't, long story short, got deleted. So take two, and I'm reading them off his phone this time, a little easier. So first question, how's the ankle feeling? Wonderful. I mean, it got back way sooner than I anticipated, and it's probably around 90% right now. Got an ankle brace that's kind of covering up the rest of what's left, but I don't think anyone with a hurt ankle would be able to do this. Next question, how much of a warm-up do you think is appropriate for days spent throwing, practice, or tournaments? What's yours? I feel like that's kind of person to person. I know Gannon likes to get out of the car and just rip shots, but that's kind of catching up with him. Where I like to take, if I'm on my own time, I like to take just 10-15 minutes at least to stretch, warm up, throw a few putts. And then I'll get to what my warm-up routine is before tournament later on in the video. Next question, do you personally like hurting yourself when climbing out of trees? Not primarily, but I am 0 for 2 on injuring myself climbing trees during tournament play. Because last year during round 3 at Northwoods Black on like hole 14, I climbed up to get my go-to, and the limb I was standing on broke like 10 feet up, and next thing you know I was on my back and my arm was cut up. I mean, I'm probably gonna try to avoid it when I can, but next question, favorite disc in your bag? Ooh, maybe the FD1. I just really enjoy, like I get excited to throw that disc every time. I've missed having like a nice stable 7-speed, and it's come in handy a lot more than I thought. Do you plan on buying Gannon Dino Nuggies for his memorial win? I'll say no, because he kicked me off the bag final round Sunday. And I don't think that deserves Dino Nuggies. But he did let me caddy the last 3 holes during the Open at Austin win, and when Schlebach had to leave, so I think we're all square. What made you leave Prodigy? It was really, I think, just the communication. My whole life in sports and family and everything was heavy on communication, so that's kind of a big part in my life. And I'm not someone that needs to kind of just get like led on to just hold over and satisfy. Like if something's not gonna be done for 4 weeks, like I don't care. Just tell me it's gonna be done in 4 weeks, and not like have me reach out 3 more times just to keep pushing the date back. And that was the main thing, but also Disc Mania has always been in my head at the top of the list, and I was hard to pass up that opportunity when that came about. So very excited for this year. What was your high school wrestling record? What was your best finish at state? My senior year, I went 37-6 and got second. Lost to 3-time state champ Marcus Coleman, who All-American this year at Iowa State, because he is a baller. S-line DD3 or C-line DD3? If stability isn't a factor, I'm going S-line purely off grip. I tend to favor S-line over C-line, but every once in a while you find one of those C-lines that's like a unicorn that just has insane grip. And in that instance, I'll probably take that for durability reasons. Favorite Disc Mania mold? DD3, super versatile, forehand, backhand, just immediate go-to distance driver when I made the switch, and it's so good, must have. All right, next question. What is it that made you decide to go with Team Disc Mania as your main sponsor? I mean, their discs are extremely premium, and I've always been drawn to smaller teams, so it's not really, you don't feel like you're getting just lost in the crowd and another number, and you can get access to whoever you need immediate, and the communication's great, and it just seemed like an environment that I could see myself thriving in for multiple years down the road. And yeah, wouldn't rather be anywhere else. I love throwing the Origin and FD for extreme hyzer flips. What's the flippiest disc in your bag for tight woods? I would have to say the Midnight Prowl 2. That is such a fun disc that you can shape so many shots with and just throw it on good amount of hyzer, and it's just nice flip up, and it goes so fast too, or it is so fast and goes so far, but it's super versatile, and I don't throw it a whole lot, but when I do, it's always super clutch. Do you like having caddies for your events? Yes, I'm not a huge fan of having strangers on the bag, or just people I haven't like known and met in person, because I feel like I have to kind of meet their expectations, and takes a little bit away from just like focusing on the round. And sometimes they feel like they need to say stuff, which I mean, I don't necessarily need that. So I tend to just have friends and family on the bag, but always appreciate the offers for people to hop on the bag, because sometimes you never know. Might just feel like I want a caddy, and rain rounds are super clutch though. If it's raining, hit me up for a caddy. What skills do you think transfer between wrestling and disc golf? I would say the mental side of wrestling transferred the most, on just kind of being mentally tough in situations, but that's kind of why I fell in love with disc golf, is because it was such a different side mentally than wrestling, and it helped me kind of tie the two together. And probably body awareness. I feel like from all the years of like strict dieting, cutting weight, I can kind of tell when I'm starting to need food, when I am starting to feel dehydrated, and just like why my body's feeling a certain way. And I think that's a super underrated part in competing, and it's come in clutch multiple times. Goals for the season, and how do you like being a crush man / boy? I don't consider myself a crush boy, or I feel like that's their title. I feel like Simon and Eagle are the OGs, and no one else will. I mean, Kyle kind of is in there too, but I'll leave that title for them. And goals for the season, I mean, I want to win so bad, and to just keep getting my rating up. I'd like the top 10 at USDGC, because I think that's so cool when it says exempt top 10 for the following year on UDisc underneath your name. Came super close last year. And yeah, just kind of keep improving on all the tournaments, and it's a perfect opportunity too, because I almost get to relearn the courses with my new bag. So filled a lot of slots that I felt like I might have been missing on a few courses, and very excited to replay what's yet to come. Who can lift more, you or Schley Daddy? I mean, probably Schleybach, just because he lifts every day, but I mean, and I do a bunch of body weight stuff, so I probably got him in push-ups, pull-ups, anything ab related. But he's not taking me down, so we've already settled that. So I'll give him the lift. I definitely think I got him in all Olympic lifts as well, but who knows? Maybe we'll have to do that next off season. Tenderloin or Maidrite? For those of you who don't know, Maidrite is, I'm pretty sure, just an Iowa thing. One of the best, I would call it a loose meat sandwich, but even just giving it that name, even though that's what it is, feels disrespectful, because it just doesn't do it justice. But Maidrite all day, and got to get the cheese curds too. On tour, do you have to scramble in between tournaments to get ready? Not necessarily. Mondays can kind of be a toss-up depending on how far the drive is. If Monday is like a full day of driving, then it kind of feels like a little bit of a rushed week, because you're losing a day to practice or kind of take off, because I don't really consider driving days off days, because it's not like it makes your body feel good driving. And on off days, I'd like to still putt and stretch and do things. So not necessarily, I wouldn't call it scrambling, but if it's like a full day of driving, then then yeah, the week definitely feels a little shortened. Best throw you've ever seen in person by another player. 2020 USDGC, Monday qualified, and I wasn't playing good. Simon's elbow was hurting. He wasn't playing good. I think it might have been round 3 we played together. Hole 13, it was in the 888 position, and he goes, like, big flex shot, turns over out of bounds relatively early. And you almost have to be there to, like, have been there to know how tall that tree is, like, on the corner that you're usually going under. But he went, like, Sky Annie flex over that to, like, 70 deep of the pin. And then there's, like, 20 feet behind the basket and that, like, little corner position, like, maybe. And then just bangs a 70-footer for birdie after going OB early right off the tee, and it's just disgusting. And then the best shot I've thrown, excluding the skins ace. 2 come to mind. One, I would have to say Maple Hill, hole 16, the Kevin Jones slip ace hole. That is probably the craziest shot I'll ever throw. It's like 480 some feet downhill through the woods, and just everyone, there was like a 3-card backup, and like it was just kind of middle of the pack, so it's not like we were playing super great, and like everyone had friends or family spectating, so there were like 30 people around the tee pad, and no one had their phone out, and it was such a bummer. And then last year, round 2 at Worlds Country Club, I grabbed my blue D1 instead of my blue Falcor, hyzered out OB on 1 at Country Club, tried to get greedy, big flex shot, turned it over too much into the road, OB again, so now I'm throwing 5, and I remember hitting the basket, and it was like 400 feet away, and I just throw a hyzer out over the road, and over Ella Hansen, who's walking on the sidewalk, and just dunk it for par save. So I took a double OB par on hole 1 at Country Club, and that was pretty insane. And I went on to shoot hot round, which was like 10 down. Best disc golf advice you've been given. I mean, I don't know if I've ever really been given disc golf advice, but maybe just like player percentages. If there's like 2 gaps and one's riskier and gonna, like, if you hit early, gonna leave you with longer shot to the basket and be super tough to save par, where this more higher percentage gap that you can hit more consistently is gonna constantly get you down there for a look over the course of the rounds due to like momentum reasons and scoring. And yeah, just take that, get down there for a look, and trust your skill set to capitalize on a couple holes. Because if you go birdie, birdie, bogey on the less percentage gap versus like par birdie, you're still both 1 down, but taking the bogey, it could have like kind of just ruined your momentum during one of those rounds, where if you just take the par, you're like, I would have liked to get that one, but it doesn't really cost you anything, and it evens out even though you birdied this one twice. So higher percentage. Real talk, is the S-Line FD flippy? Definitely flippier than C-Line, but it's like the perfect complement. It's just a nice like beat-in FD, just hyzer flip, great shot shaper, and definitely check it out. All right, favorite Iowa course. I'm gonna have to go Pickard Park, Niniola. It was already one of my favorite ones. It was where I played my first ever tournament. And now that it's on the Pro Tour and gotten such a great update, it's just the perfect course of a little bit of woods, a little bit of just bombs. I mean, you kind of get a handful of everything, which I love. But other than that, I mean, Walnut kind of got a little bit of a makeover, and I'm not a huge fan of a good amount of those holes. But OG Walnut, and then OG to me. And also super underrated course, Maytag Park, Newton, Iowa. They just got new baskets, so go get around there. Favorite tactic plastic. I'm gonna go Meta Plastic Razor Claw 3. I know, I don't know if that's technically a different mold or variation, but that's the only one I throw, and it's just a money stable backhand approach disc. What part of your game do you think needs the most work? I'd say backhand touch shots. Yeah, I mean, you can never be too dialed on those, and just such a huge advantage to spin control, speed control, matching the slope. I think backhand touch approach shots are crucial. Favorite OG mold and favorite evolution mold so far. Favorite OG mold, DD3. Yeah, I mean, like I said earlier, just so versatile and get some different stability DD3s, and they just kind of suit the whole lineup. And evolution mold, I'm gonna have to go links, Exo Hard links. I putt with them. I have one as a thrower for just nice flip up putter shots that I'm trying to get beat into really flippy. But also OG mold MD3. MD3 is just such a classic, and like if you bag Discmania and you're not bagging an MD3, then I don't know what you're doing. What's your favorite mold in your bag, disc, and course in the US? Mold DD3 disc for sentimental reasons, and it's like my favorite sidearm disc is a Cloudbreaker, just OG Cloudbreaker 1, and it was my buddy Ross's who passed away, and his dad Rod Welcher was gracious enough to pass that on to me. And I mean, I'll never mash on that thing as hard as he did, but I mean, it's that thing I'll never throw near water or anything, but it's come in clutch and got me a handful of birdies so far this year, and very, very thankful. And I love getting to throw that disc every time, because I just get to keep throwing Ross's plastic. Oh, and favorite course in the US, WR Jackson. WR Jackson, if we played there every week on the Pro Tour, it'd be the happiest guy in the world. It's just the nicest, beat up season, just beautiful wooded course. And that is my number one course recommended to people to go play if you just love wooded golf. Or yeah, there might be a few holes that could kind of, I know they made some changes for Champions Cup already this year, and I think those are going to be really good. But yeah, and I mean, it's one of the courses that just doesn't really change, and I think there's a good reason for that. How did you balance being a college wrestler and continuing to improve your disc golf game? I mean, I really just focused on wrestling when I was wrestling, and then March would come, and it was disc golf time. It's still like go to whatever workouts we had, but there obviously a lot more time once season was up. And I was out playing every day, just putting on hole 18, on the green all the time. Just the March feeling once wrestling was up and disc golf was here again, it was so prime time. It was very nostalgic. How did you get so good so quickly? The answer is I did not. I started out, I think my first ever rating was like 843. Played rec in 2016, 2017 intermediate, 2018 advanced, 2019 turned pro, and was like 970 rated. And then next year like 985, then 1,000, then like 1,005, then like 1,010, and now we're where we're at. We just went down last update, but just kind of some bad rounds beginning of the year, just dialing in the bag and some rusty play. But yeah, I mean, I think we can get to 10 up into the 1020s this year, and I mean, as long as I'm getting a little bit better every day, then I think we'll eventually be at the top. There's no way not to eventually be up there if you're not getting better every day. I don't know if I said that right, but you got the point. Can you do an elevator pitch about how to make the jump to tour? What's most important? Going all in. You can't like be nervous or think that, that this might be what I want to do. You just have to, all right, I'm going to commit to this, and your life is now disc golf, and you have to plan your life around disc golf, because that, like, being on tour, your life is disc golf, and that is your job, and you have to own it and just put in the work. and yeah, just make it your life and be all in. And that's, I'd say, what's most important. 3 favorite card mates. I'm gonna have to go, I was just thinking about this the other day. I'm gonna have to go Chris Clemens, Calvin Heimberg, and James Conrad. I've only played with Calvin a couple times, but I enjoyed it every time. I love playing with James, and I love playing with Chris. They're just so nice and easy to talk to throughout the round, and I think those 3 also get along very well, and I think it'd be just a super fun, vibey, relaxing card that's just kind of like cheering you on throughout, and just be very mellow, and I think I'd like that a lot. Best restaurant you've stopped at on tour. I'm gonna have to go Rodeo Goat, and I think it was in Dallas. And I was on the way to pick up my girlfriend from the airport, and I stopped there to grab a bite to eat on my birthday, sat down by myself. I said, hey, do you guys do anything for birthdays? And they go, it's your birthday? And I was like, of course. And so I got some churro balls that were money. They had like the best burger I've ever had. And the fries with ranch were actually, no, it wasn't fries. It was the tater tots with like chives, bacon, a fried egg on top, some cheese. What was I thinking? I did get a side of ranch though for the burger, but oh yeah, Rodeo Goat, go there. Why you so handsome? I don't know. You can ask my mama. What is your warm-up routine? I like to get to the course an hour and 10 minutes before the round. Already have grabbed a bite to eat and a coffee. And then I like to take 10-15 minutes to just primarily stretch, hit some yoga poses, and then just go throw some putts, warm up the motion, not really care where they're going, just get the hands nice and warm. And ideally there's a net so I can throw some carefree shots into the net, and then hit some circle 2 putts, go throw right around like 15 shots down, and then some approaches back to my bag, and then go putt, and then head to the tee with like 5-10 minutes and then just chill. I don't like to putt too much though, because that can be a downfall. Favorite understable disc / shot. I love taking an understable disc in like woods on like long pushing hyzers and just whamming it on like a little hyzer for just like a little flip up cut glide that just kind of cutting up and just gliding left the entire way. And it's such a satisfying shot to hit. But that's probably my favorite understable shot to throw. And the CD1 is great for that shot. Best crossover wrestling exercise for disc golf conditioning. I'd say pull-ups. I mean, you can make it conditioning if you just don't give yourself much rest time. But I mean, these muscles, all crucial. And I mean, mainly just the body weight stuff and just fast pace, just some push-ups, squats, sit-ups, pull-ups. I'll do some stance of motion every once in a while, some high knees, some fast feet, and all the goods. What are you doing for ankle rehab? From Dr. Disc Golf. Ankle circles, body weight squats, ankle stability holds. I mean, all the musts, but it's doing very good, and basically just wear a brace to make sure I don't roll it pretty bad and just re-sprain it. Any tips to go on tour? Tips to get better, really sit down, analyze your game, figure out where you're losing strokes, and put in the work on how to fix that. Just analyze other people's form, just pro tips, and just really figure out how to gain consistency through making up strokes from just errant mistakes, because everyone starting has those shots where like, why did I just do that? Like, I never do that. And it can be that little lapse in focus, but just figure out how to focus more and what makes you focus. And kind of really get a solid game plan and game plan for the course you're playing. Just go through, have a game plan where Gannon, Alden, and I we'll do this before tournaments. We'll just be like, hole 1, what are you throwing? And then we'll all go around, just D3, whatever. Hole 2, MB3, whatever. And just rattle off your game plan to yourself, to a buddy, go back and forth, and just have in your head what you're throwing, and obviously when can change that, but know the shot shape you're looking for, and that can go a long way too. Can we see a 3-way wrestling match between you, Alden, and Gannon? We were actually talking, including Isaac too, if those 3 could take me in a fight, and I didn't think so. I think if they had a perfect game plan, I think they could, but I think one of them would hang back and kind of cause a gap and a little chink in the armor. Speak of the devil, there's Alden. And I'd probably have to take out Isaac first because he's been in some fights with his brothers before, but I would assume their game plan would be to rush all 3 at me at the same time, and I would suspect Gannon to hang back and then cause the flaw in the plan, and then I capitalize. But I think they could if they went about it the right way, because just by pure numbers. New MD5, so money. Go-to forehand approach disc, perfect stability for backhand. Love it. What event are you most excited to compete in this year? WR Jackson. Obviously, I talked about that a little earlier, so I won't revisit that. But besides that one, I would say Portland Open. The Glenavere course they had last year was so fun, and they're using the other side of the course that wasn't good in 2021, but it's going to be completely different. So I have high hopes for that because that property is amazing. And the Zootown Open in Missoula, Montana. Looks like it's like on a mountain and just fun wooded course. So looking forward to those. Favorite color, kind of wearing them, but hot pink, light blue, neon green. Those are really neon pink, neon blue, neon green. Those are probably the 3. Big, bright color guy. If you got $1,000 for each pizza, how many pepperoni pizzas could you eat in an hour? Assuming they're large pepperoni pizzas from Domino's, I think if throwing up was allowed, I thought about this pretty hard the other day, but I think I could hit 10 in an hour if you didn't get disqualified for throwing it back up. And man, would that just be brutal. It'd be the longest hour of my life. But if you had to keep it down, it would be so hard. But I think I could get 5. But yeah, that would just be miserable. Do you get a Signature Series disc? If so, what? No Signature Series disc like the Iron Samurai or the Lone Howl or anything like that. I haven't really done anything to earn that. But be on the lookout. I will have a Creator Series disc that will be available on Discmania's website only. And working on the stamp for it now. Don't know what the mold is yet, so just look out for a post from me. And also just got these sweet hats in. I have about 100 of them. They're Richardson 112 style, my favorite hat. And yeah, with the new logo, I have them in pink, white, light blue and white, black and gold, all black, black and white, and charcoal and hot pink. But I won't be shipping those right now just because it's a little bit of a hassle on the road, and getting like the boxes for them, it just take up too much space in my van. So if you're at a tournament and you see me in person, I'll be selling them out of my van in person only for now. So be on the lookout for that. And thank you very much. This one's for you guys.